This show is sponsored in part by Flat Fee Tax Prep and Services, offering quality tax preparation serving clients nationwide. For more information, visit www.flatfeecreditandtax.com. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you. Welcome to the Golden Square Podcast with your hosts, Linda Scott and Sharilyn Fisher. Are you ready? Because we're starting right now, only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I am super excited about this evening's show. Hosted by Sharilyn Fisher and Linda Scott. Where is she? Ma'am, can I help you?
I am Ernestine Agatha Jones, and my granddaughter, Sharilyn, said I could come to the podcast.
No, this is not a podcast. This is a podcast. And we have a very serious topic that we're working on.
I'm serious.
Ma'am.
I'm serious.
Can you please go get your granddaughter, please?
Oh, so you don't want me here?
Not tonight. Maybe another night you can come and visit us.
I'm insulted.
Anyway, so I don't know where Sharilyn is, but she needs to hurry up and come. But tonight we have a fantastic show for you. And as Sharilyn arrived in a hurry, I hope, sending her grandmother, we have a discussion that we're talking about domestic violence, and it's real. So the question that I have for everybody is, I would like to see a show of hands of everyone who've ever been in this type of experience, who've ever had this experience, to just show me your hand, just show up, and just know that you will be helping someone else because you've experienced it and you know the ins and the outs. So give me a moment. Let me go find Sharilyn Fisher, and we'll be right back.
If you're looking for custom handcrafted fashion jewelry that makes a statement, look no further than Linda S. Jewelry, 1426. We specialize in quality pieces fit for any occasion. Follow us on Facebook at Linda S. Jewelry 1426 to view our inventory or to make a purchase. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Welcome back, and thank you. And guess who I found? Praise the Lord. But what I would like to do is let everybody know how serious this evening's topic is about. I don't even know where to start. Once I started researching a little more and trying to connect with different people to help me in this area, I found so many women that I didn't even know who had been through this kind of situation. And I went and looked, and I went to my director. I didn't have no idea that Lisa was a victim of domestic violence. And then also we have tonight's special guest, Miss Jennifer Gilbert. I should say Dr. Jennifer Gilbert. Give her due. She's earned it. So they're going to come in and help us try to find what's going on, how we can help it, how can we stop it, what to look for, all of these things. So our guests tonight, Dr. Jennifer Gilbert and Lisa Denae. Those are our guests. Hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies.
Hello. Hi, hello.
Hello. Hey, before we get started, I really would like to send our condolences from the Golden Square to Queen Elizabeth and her family, and also Bernard Shaw, CNN commentator. So we, send our condolences and thank you for allowing us that time in this break. So Let's go. What are you gonna say? I want to know where you've been.
See, I was scared of my grandmama. I don't know about you. She told me to let her come, and she meant it. She looked like she meant it. So
Okay. So, all right. So, let's get started. I'm ready to get into this. How about you, ladies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One thing I want to say, excuse me, one thing I want to say about domestic violence in the Black community, and it's in every community,
Right.
but in the Black community, it's that they treat it just like they treat mental illness. It's a shame. There's shame of it, and that doesn't happen in my family. So that's the biggest cause of why women don't speak out and whatever, because it's a stigma of shame to domestic violence.
And
Absolutely.
so, Dr. Gibson, Gilbert, let me ask you a question that she just came up with. How do they get over the fear? How do you get past fear to say, I need the help? Please help me. How do you get past
First of all, thank you all for having me on this show. We appreciate you so much. But to answer your question, there are several ways. As a domestic violence advocate, as well as a survivor, I always try to educate women and men on how to get out properly. We have a thing called an exit plan. And an exit plan is basically, it's available on our website, jgilbertministries.com. And basically what it is it's a document that tells you all of the things that you need when you're getting ready to exit. Things that you don't think about in the run of the meal when you're, I gotta go, and you forget your ID, you forget your birth certificates, you forget medication, you forget, all of these things. And what happens is when you forget those things, your abuser uses it against you. Oh, she's not a good mother because she left the baby's medicine. If she was a good mother, she would have remembered this. And then now you have to go back and face him. So that's one way that we do. We always try to teach them to leave intelligently. This is a bag that you create and you put to the side in the closet or something. And just each day you put a little something in there that that are vital that you're going to need in order to restart your life. Because, the more that you have to keep going back, the more likely it is, honestly, that you'll be killed.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. So,
they should have a survival bag.
kit. Yeah, survival kit. Yeah. So, but you should have a survival kit. But when do I start putting things in my kit? When do I know, oh, it's time to go? How do we do that?
It's different for everybody. Yes, you have a lot of women who leave and go back and leave and go back and leave and go back. And it was because they didn't prepare to leave correctly. Right.
Okay.
The Bible says it like this. So whatever a man thinketh, so is he. And so if my mind is still encapsulated in this abuse, my body is going to follow it. So I wish that there was a way that I could say, oh, well, when they hit you the third time and knock you in the head and you hit the floor, then that's the cue that you have to go. For some people, it's just, you talk to me crazy and I'm out of here. And for other people, it's a near-death experience. And then for others, it's when the abuse trickles down to where it affects your children or your livelihood. So there's no one way of knowing when or how to leave. It's just a matter of when you have said in your mind, in your heart, enough is enough.
Wow.
Well, is there like in your ministry or whatever, something that tell a woman how a man is grooming her? Like when he first start separating her from her friends and separating from her family, and you can only go to work and come home and I'm going to time you. Is there something in your ministry that tells a woman to look for that?
Yeah.
There is. Last year I wrote a number of books. It was called The Year of Self-Help. And it's designed for domestic abuse survivors to rebuild themselves. So each month I released a brand new, what we call mini books. for them. And one of the ones that's closest to my heart is called the PTSD of domestic violence. And what it is that you are going in, and you have to go in with no blinders on. You have to be open, like the young people say. You got to be, down for whatever, right? And then once you do that, then you have to go in and you have to start curtailing yourself and saying what needs to be done. You have to educate yourself to know, okay, why I can't never be with my friends? Why we always gotta go around your friends? Why we can't even be around my family? Or why is it always a problem whenever I go over here with my friends? It's an issue, but when you go with your friends, it's all good. But you want to, constantly FaceTime me and things of that nature when I'm out, and I have to be in at a certain time. So there's a lot of different what we call red flags that you experience. It just doesn't, people don't just wake up one day and be like, you know what, come here, let me slap you down. You know what I'm saying? There's a dichotomy of issues that range. And again, everybody is different, because you have to understand there's different types of abuse. An offender who is committing physical abuse may not do the same thing or have the same modality as one who is doing financial abuse.
I never thought about the finance. Now I've heard of the verbal abuse, and the reason that I'm actually sitting here grinning because Sharilyn, one time there was this guy that I was with, and he wanted to isolate me, little Scott, away from all of my associates and all my friends, and I didn't have any family here, and he wanted to isolate me, but I was still strong enough to say, "Are you crazy?
Right.
I'm going where I need to go or where I want to go." And then she saw what was being done, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta leave," and I said, "I ain't going nowhere."
I was afraid for him. I was really afraid for him.
So that verbal, and it's funny because I had just spoke with a young lady who was saying that her husband told her that she was not pretty, and she wasn't fine, and she was, and nobody was going to want her because she had, I think, 4 kids. I said, "Girl, that's a lie. He is messing with your head. So if you're allowing him to go into your head that way, that's part of his, yeah. So, boy, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, because this is making hair stand up all over my body. Because I need to go do some things.
We have to understand when we're trying to educate, and I like what one of the viewers said is, she said, "I told my daughter to stop collecting those flags."
Collecting those flags. That was Dion.
That is such a powerful statement, because we can educate you all day, but if you're just gonna collect the flags and never make a play, then we're playing scrimmage. We're not going for a touchdown.
Right.
And so one of the biggest things is, like you said, is educating yourself on the types of abuse. You need to know the difference between emotional and psychological abuse. You have emotional, you have psychological, you have verbal, you have financial abuse. You have, there's this plethora of all different types. And I wrote, directed, and produced the stage play that'll be coming next month. It's called The Gospel Golden Girls and the Men That They Hurt. And inside of that play, what I did is, God told me to reach out to men all over the world, to put out a solicitation, and to have men to contact me that are willing to share their story. And so when they did what I did, God has allowed me to go in and create art. So when you go to the play, you're literally going to see true stories. And none of them look alike. There's this thing called child alienation. And the crazy part was, people don't realize bullying is also a form of domestic violence.
Domestic
Right.
violence.
And so it goes back to us educating ourselves on what we do. Now, what are the flags for financial abuse? Because everybody's eyes went like this when you said
Right.
That was going to be my next question. Explain financial abuse to me.
Yeah, financial abuse is basically it happens in several different ways. Number one, I'm a professional, I'm a career woman myself. When they say, "Oh, baby, you don't have to work, I got you.
Ooh.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be the best husband. I'm gonna be the best provider." And then what happens is you begin to start asking for, "Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I
Right.
have the other?" And
Right.
then when he tells you no, is always a reason and a rationale. There's something more important or whatever. Or it can go the other way. I've always been the breadwinner in my relationship.
Right.
And so then what happens is, well, how much was your check? Okay. And so what did you do with that check? Okay. And so then how much do you have left? And what do you plan to do? And then they'll say, "Oh, you don't need no shoes. You don't need no, you don't need to get your hair done, or don't worry about paying the rent. We'll catch it next time." I mean, it goes to various extremities as to what it is, but that's basically what it is when they utilize finances and the economics to impact your mind, to impact your mentality, to impact your emotions. They make you get rid of things that are very, very close to you. One of the survivors that we helped to get free, she had bought a beautiful urn for her mother. And the urn was worth like $20,000. And he had threatened to pawn the urn. With the mama, with the ashes, and he took the bag out, and he kept utilizing. I'm gonna go take this urn. Well, we short on a light bill. Let's go take this urn. And things of that nature. So that's a part of financial abuse.
Yeah. So the other question that I was I was hit, and this came from like everybody that I spoke with, was embarrassed. Why are they embarrassed, Doc? Help me with that, because see, I've never experienced myself with domestic violence. Now, I probably was the woman that was, there was the other shoe. Now I'm guilty for that. I'll say that, because you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Even though I knew I couldn't win the fight, but I won the war.
Exactly.
So, yes, exactly. I won the war. So now you hit me, I got some stuff for you. So are you sure? And even in your tone, see, I don't want you to raise your tone, your voice at me. You can't do that. And you raise your voice at me because now I'm in a defensive mode for myself. Like, oh, he is going to do something to me. So I'm prepared. I done spotted everything in the room because I'm about to do some damage somewhere. But getting back to the embarrassing part of it, why are we as women or people in this environment, why are we embarrassed about telling someone I need help, or telling someone this is what he or she is doing to me? Why is it so embarrassing?
Again, I love these questions. Let me say that first. And I wish that I could say that the embarrassment comes from being in the abuse. The embarrassment is forever there. I'm either embarrassed that I'm being abused, I'm either embarrassed that I experienced the abuse, or I'm embarrassed to tell anybody that I'm, he looked like he wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why, even though there's several different ranges of embarrassment, the thing is because we as women are taught to be strong. We're taught to, we're Superwoman, we're Wonder Woman, we're, all of this, and when you say this, it brings about a form of susceptibility, a form of vulnerability, a form of weakness, and maybe because the first thing that you say when you tell somebody, oh, he hit me and I need help getting out. Girl, what you mean he hit you? And then you did what? And then what had happened? And how you gonna let him, So now I've shut down.
Grits.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
went from this to having my hand out for assistance to this. Nah, I'm good. I was just,
Right.
I was just talking. And then
Right.
I'm going to go back and watch this. The abuse may get worse when I go back. But
Wow.
now, because of the way that you shut me down, I'm not going to say it to you or anybody else, because the truth of the matter is there are more girl you crazy than there is sis. Let's go get
To
you
help
out.
you. And then those who are the ones who saying, girl, you crazy, are the same ones that are in the same boat. That
Exactly.
yeah. So oh girl, no, if that was me, I wouldn't do. And I've heard that, and me being, this thing right here always get me in trouble. But me being Linda Scott, I'm gonna say, girl, she lying. What's the problem? Let's talk about it. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, neither one of us. We're not doctors. We don't have no license in this field. However, we do have the wisdom and the years behind us to say, sugar, come here. This not working. Because one of my, and this is what made me get on this topic, that one of my models that I could depend on almost better than I could depend on Sharilyn right here. And every time I would call her, every time I would text her, she would not answer. But when she did answer and I went to her home, I said, oh, it ain't right here. The whole atmosphere. It was just like, okay, so you want to tell me what's going on or you want to wait? But by her waiting, and by me not going and say, okay, listen, come. I waited as well. And I kind of feel bad, about it, that he would, do what he did. And I'm like, babe, no, we got to talk about this. And I got to find some people who can tell you how to get out of this. She's out, but how do you know you're out?
How do you know
How do you know
he's back?
how do you know he's out? I see her doing great things. She's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm not talking about the outside, the inside. She's beautiful. How do I go back to her? Or what message, Lisa, that you would send to her to say you are out? This is when you know you're out. How do you know you quit the situation? How do you know? I don't know the correct question to ask, but how do you know? Can't hear you, Lisa.
I was muted. Sorry about that. So this is how you know. So people that have been abused, they can get out of one abusive situation and find themselves in another abusive situation. And the reason for that is because we have become used to things that are improper. So the literal definition of abuse is the improper use of something, just like alcohol abuse, just like any other abuse. It is the improper use of something. So when you are used to somebody treating you improperly, mistreating you, misusing you, you can leave from one person mistreating you and find yourself in a situation with another person who's doing the same thing. And the reason why is because you have to come to terms with the fact that whatever it is, if I don't like it, it's improper.
Wow.
I think the
So
part of the
it's just it's very simple because a lot of people, this is how a lot of abusers play the mind game with you. All I did was yell at you. If I don't like it, it is improper. I don't care what you did with your mama. I don't care what you did with your cousin, auntie, sister, brother, uncle. If I don't like to be yelled at, it is improper. And so this is what we have to teach people to prevent going into other situations and to stay out of abusive situations. Because one thing that you said, Sharilyn, that's very important for people to understand is grooming. Grooming doesn't just happen with abusers. Grooming happens with family members. If your mama called you a bitch, then you're going to accept a man calling you a bitch.
Right.
If your uncle called you ugly, you're going to accept a man calling you. Grooming starts at childhood.
Wow.
When parents treat children improper, when parents call children out of their names, these things become normal to them. And so when they get in relationships, if a man say you old ugly, it's not improper. It's
right, because she's used to hearing
okay,
that.
don't talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have been groomed from a child. So
Wow.
when you're dealing with people who when you're dealing with people who have gotten out of a situation, the main thing is to try to determine their mind state. Where's their mind at?
Mhm.
You know,
Mm.
because it's like you said, Linda, earlier, you can't even speak to you wrong. A tone of voice would set you off. And
Right.
that's where we all should be. Anything that does not sit well with me is improper and
Right.
therefore is not appropriate for me in a relationship. Some men really feel like if they don't hit you, they haven't abused you. When they done
Oh,
called you out
yes,
your
yes.
name, they done manipulated you, they done talked about you, they done cheated on you, which is emotional
Mm.
abuse,
Mhm.
lied
Right.
to you. And then there's a such thing called spiritual abuse because church folks, and my first abuser in a relationship was a preacher. They the
Mhm.
worst because they'll
Wow.
use the word on you. They'll use the word
Wow.
of God on you. And when you're
Right.
trying to please God, and when you're really trying to be saved, you will really deal with it for a while because you feel like,
Wow.
okay, maybe he right. You know, that
Right.
is the word. The word do say submit. The
Hmm.
word do say turn the other cheek. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's spiritual abuse because the word don't mean it like that. So you're
Right.
using it
Use
improperly.
out of content.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Losing out of
Yeah.
content.
So that's where our mindset needs to be. What is proper and what is not. So any type of treatment that is improper, and I tell my children, I don't care if it's me. If I do something or say something that does not sit well with you, you speak up.
Right.
You
Well,
speak
see,
up.
you remind me of my father. My dad told me that I'm supposed to speak my mind. And girl, when it comes up here, come on out. So but with him, I spoke my mind, Daddy. No, that's not what you should be doing. So now I got bopped in the mouth because I done spoke out of turn. To them, I spoke out of turn. But then to me, I'm still speaking out of turn because now you done confused me. You told me to say what I wanted to say, and now you hit me in the mouth when I said it. I wanted to
But
know why
see,
you came home late. Because mama didn't ask that question. We sitting here waiting to eat, and you ain't made it home. And back then, our parents, my mom was home, and we didn't eat until Daddy came home. Well, why are you late? I'm hungry. I want to eat. So that point, he was like, okay, my mom, they call my mom Smitty. So, okay, Smitty, feed these children if I hadn't made it home. But then here's another question. Why you ain't gonna make it home? See, I can't I
Can't win
can't
for
lose,
losing.
right. I
You
can't
can't
win
win
for
for losing.
losing. And then I cannot allow Tom, Dick, or Harry to talk to me just that way. I don't need to know everywhere you're going. I don't need to do all these things because I ain't gonna tell you where I'm going. How about that? So the first time
I know that's right.
you do some things to me, you gotta know that something is gonna happen back to you. If the abuser know, and these are just my views, that if I say this to her, she ain't gonna do nothing. The devil is a lie. So that's basically why I'm by myself. And the Lord called my husband home. He said, "Enough, man. Go on. Come on, let me take you in." But these are just little things that happens, and we have to know how to stop it. We have to know how to stop it. We have to know. We as the two of you and us in the audience, how do you fix a learned behavior? Because that's what it is.
That's what it is. A learned
A
behavior.
learned behavior. How do we
How do you
fix that?
unteach it?
Unteach.
Unteach
Yeah.
it. How you
you have
unteach
to
that?
unlearn. You
Yeah.
have to unlearn. And Black
Yeah.
people, unfortunately, have the most unlearning to do than any other culture because a lot of things that we learn was born out of slavery, was born out of bondage, was born out of trauma, and we have to unlearn a lot of things. And one of those things is that, like you said, these are small things. They're not small. If it makes you uncomfortable, if it makes you feel a certain type of way, it's not small. I don't care if it's a look that you have. I need to know why you're looking at me like that.
Right.
And I feel like we have been taught that we're sensitive, or, oh, she just don't. Listen, I'm important. I'm just as important as you are. So we need to learn how to unlearn those things that taught us to put our feelings away.
Yeah.
Put the way we feel on the back burner. We have to unlearn those things.
Right.
Because your feelings are an indication when something's not right.
Right.
You know, you feel it.
Right.
You know when something's not right. That's my answer. But I did want to say one other thing about boundaries. And this is big for family members. Abusers will always test your boundaries. And when you don't have a history of set boundaries in your family, you are a prime candidate to be abused.
Wow.
See, for me, I have always had set boundaries because I was abused as a child and as an adult. So when I had children, I said, my children are going to have boundaries. So if they close their door, I'm okay with that. Yes, I pay the rent, I pay the mortgage, whatever the case may be, but I'm going to allow them to have those boundaries. Now, I'm not going to let it go too far, but I'm going to allow them to learn how to set boundaries, because a lot of adult women don't even know how to do that. So a man will literally come in the bathroom with you and you got the door shut. An abuser will try to, and you'll say, hey, I need some space. I need some privacy. Well, we married. We married. Ain't nothing off limits. It is my personal boundary. Right? And if you cannot respect that, this is going to be a problem.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the things we have to reteach people. It's okay to have boundaries.
So this should start as a I'm dating you kind of thing, because that's another show. No, there's another show. But it's that I'm dating you, and those red flags again. You talk to me crazy. You wasn't on time. You look for me to do different things. So my family is crazy, but my brother would take the younger ladies, girls, on a date to show them how a man's supposed to treat a woman. So when, by me being oldest, I said, you ain't never took me out to my, you the oldest. Oh, okay. But I still need to know. I think I need to. Somebody still got to show me something. And things have changed from when I started dating to where the younger siblings start to date, to know this man's supposed to, as we hear, open the door for you. He's supposed to pull your chair out. I want that too. He was like, well, all right, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. But that is guiding, that is teaching, that is starting from at home. That's starting from when you initially start dating someone. But then we need to know what the definition of dating is all about. Because I just dated you. I went out with you one time. I ain't said I was your woman. So and then you come in, and as the old folks used to say, don't let them stick your shoes under your bed, because they won't leave. Well, one sock at a time, toothbrush. And my thing is, I don't even let you come over. So how about that? That's it in a nutshell for me. So how do we handle starting from dating to get to the marriage situation?
I would like to take that question. I don't know your marital status, but I'm a single lady. And one of the things that we have to understand, like you said, that's a whole nother show. It is, but it's not, because every relationship should start with dating. The problem is many of us have gotten away from courting.
Right.
See, I'm, probably dating myself, but when we were coming up, there was this thing called courting.
Right.
And then after you're courting, right? Think about the word court. That means that there's a judge and a jury. So I'm not going to make this decision on my own. I have a village where I help you to make this decision. And somebody in my village know your mama and them, your daddy and them, your sisters, brothers. They know y'all criminal history. We didn't have Google back then. We just had the neighborhood mom.
That's
we had the church mothers. who knew that kind of stuff. They was the best people we ever had because they gave you in-depth details.
In depth.
And go, your mama say, who your people?
That's right.
Exactly. You know, but now we don't have that. We just go right into dating. And because people don't even know the definition of dating, they don't know what dating looks like. They don't know what to expect, because in dating is where you set the expectation. That's where you I'm telling you, this is what I will stand for. This is what I won't stand for.
Correct.
And one of the things, as a former a survivor myself, is as she said, you establish boundaries from day one. My establishing of boundaries starts with that very first phone call. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Okay, so let me tell you what we're not gonna do.
All right.
You know what I mean? And here's one thing: it's several different ways that you can know the flags of dating. And one of them is, once you have shown them your heart, or shown them your hand, or told them your triggers, and then they turn around and intentionally use it. For instance, if I say, oh, well, you know, I have abandonment issues, right? And you talk to me today, then I don't hear from you for 6 weeks, and then you pop in like we just talked yesterday. Now you have triggered me. And then they'll say things like, well, you know, I ain't like that last nigga, you know what I'm saying? He ain't, you know. Now you have taken what I said and you used it against
me.
And that's what causes us sometimes to get into, like she was saying, recurring abuse. Because
can I speak to that real quick, Doctor? Can I speak to that real quick? Because I don't think that people should be talking about those things in the dating phase. I don't think you should ever get that common with somebody you're simply dating. Those are conversations for marriage. We've all went through things. We've all got baggage. I can give you a surface, but I'm not going to get deep into, oh, I have abandonment issues, or my dad did this. No, because we're dating. You just get to know me, who I am right now today, September 8th, 2022. You don't need to know who I was in 1980, 1990. Those are conversations for marriage. Because if you let people get that much information on you too early, you're exactly right. They will do that. They will use that against you. You haven't even determined whether or not they're worthy to know you that well.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't even know if they're worthy or capable of handling your past trauma. So in dating phases, I feel like you don't get that common with me. I'm giving you the public persona. I'm giving you Lisa Denae. Now you're gonna get the other Lisa when you put a ring on it. I'm not going that deep with you because you're not yet worthy of that. And I think that's where a lot of women make a mistake. You want to lay out all your, they're not even worthy. They have what proof have they shown you that they can even carry your weight? That they can
proof, Lisa, the proof that they show you is that L word. It's oh, I love you. You just met me.
It's a word.
When they say I love you, I'm going out the next door. All right. I can't.
Yeah, you know, they say a pair of lips to say anything.
Yeah, you don't know me. How you love me? You don't know I'm crazy. I am. I'm telling you I'm crazy. And you like, no, but I love you. And we could change. Oh, they go to C word.
Or this one they use a lot. God told me you're gonna be my wife.
And he tell me.
God tell you and not tell me if I'm gonna be the wife?
Right.
Yeah, God.
Because the Bible say in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this it doesn't work for me. And it's almost time for us to take a commercial break. But however, oh Jesus, some things you can't take a break on, but this doesn't work for me. It doesn't work that, and I'm with you, Doc, and I'm with you, Lisa, as well, because I don't feel like I need to give you nothing. And matter of fact, I don't give you nothing. You don't even know what my last name is. How about that?
And if you do know,
let's go.
I think we have to see ourselves as we are, and we are treasures. We are the jewel. We are the prize. You know, before they win the championship, you done gave them the prize before they even worthy. So for me, I know that a lot of people say people don't date anymore. I do.
I do.
And you will date me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't date me, you will not be allowed in my presence.
Right.
You in the presence of greatness. And if you don't know that, you're unworthy. And I won't even spend time with you.
Right.
And
so ladies, let's move to a commercial break and then take this back up when we come back.
Okay, we got like 5 minutes, but can I say this real quick?
Oh, say it.
I feel like this is important.
Go ahead.
Because some people don't know how to draw the line. This is where you draw the line when you're dating. The lack of reciprocity opens the door for abuse. You gotta have reciprocity.
Yes.
Meaning, if I text you, you text me. If I call you, you call me.
Right,
if I show kindness to you, you show kindness to me. If there's no reciprocity, there's no relationship. And just let it go.
Right. That now, girl, you see, that's the whole ball game right there. Because what I do to you, apparently, I want you to do that back to me. Right. Because not only did you you took me to the most expensive restaurant. Well, babe, this is what I want to do with us, and I got it. You know, so I want to pick up that communication line because I didn't have a communication line. Because again, what you said, Lisa, you weren't worthy. Why am I calling you? So I'm not calling you every time you call me at 5 and 15, 10 minutes. What? Why are you calling me now? What? You just spoke with me. There's nothing that we could talk about that we missed 5 minutes ago. So back then, of course, they ain't had blocking and all that kind of stuff, but they did have hang up on you, right? They did. So let's go that route. But and I know all of us are not built the same, but it has to be at some point that we have to learn how to unlearn what we have learned and make this stuff work for us. Our young ladies that are coming behind us is crazy. It's crazy. It makes me crazy. It's like I want to just punch you right in the ear for why would you talk to her that way? And I don't even, it's the grace of God that I am living because I do defend. I mean, I don't even know the situation with you, Doc, and you're whoever. And I heard him yell at you. Why would you yell at her? What did she do? And all they got to do is say, Miss, mind your business. But I want to know why you yelled at her.
Now the time I was going to Linda, mind your business.
And
we out here, we don't know nobody out here, mind your business.
I try, but it's just it makes me crazy. We have to teach our children, not just our children, because then I looked at the stats about the pandemic and how domestic violence went crazy during the pandemic. I was like, I was glad to be in my house by myself. I just can't imagine you not wanting to be with me during the day. The working kept us together because you went your way and I went my way. But now it's time for them to be together. That was a whole different story. That's a whole nother show too. This is
I think it's a lot of shows you can do on this subject.
Yeah.
And,
right.
You know, one thing I wanted to say to people who are married and to women in our community, support women who are holding out for the right man.
Right.
You know, don't put so much pressure on women. I've been single myself personally. I've been divorced for 8 years. And it's always, oh my God, you still single? Hey, support me because I'm not going to settle. Let's support our single sisters. Let's stop putting pressure on them just because, on us, because we are not willing to settle. We want to be loved correctly.
Absolutely.
Support us in that. Don't shame us.
Right.
Because see, that's why people are in relationships they don't want to be in, because people shame them for being single.
Right. Single. And I was that girl. I think Sharilyn mentioned it last week, but this came from a guy and many guys when I got here in Houston, because they said, oh, well, you gay. I'm like, I am? You talking about happy? No, you do women. What do you mean? Because they never seen me with a man, but the right man didn't come along. You don't know where he is. I didn't have to put him on social media. I didn't have to say, oh, Linda Scott's dating John Blow. No, I'm not. So I'm not gay. You're not the man for me. And the man for me is waiting. And when he gets me, he got a good thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So
We we need women like you who will teach us, because society sets us up for abuse. Society abuses us, as she said. It's either you gay, or when you go to church, every church service you attend, oh, God showed me your husband, and here he come, and you gon', and it's like,
Yes.
but what about those that don't want? What the Bible say, when a man find a wife, well, she need to know she a wife. I don't desire to be a wife, so then don't make me something that I don't want to be. It goes back to those boundaries. And so now, I've been divorced since 2006, but now I have those boundaries. If you got a prophecy for me, first of all, I need you to tell me, because it's going to resonate with my
right.
It's not going to be just, and you ain't going to get me to fall in the flow because you said, here comes Jim Blow. And let me tell you what he looked like. And he going to love you so much. And let me tell you, his name start with an M. It start with an M. You know somebody with it's like, what? I literally last year had a prophet to tell me, oh, you're going to be married in 6 months. And oh, he's going to love you. You're going to be so happy. Turn to this pastor that I had only met one time and said, and you're going to be the one to marry him. And I was like, I don't even know him. And then I was on and on. So I told him politely after service, it goes back to what Lisa was saying about boundaries. I said, listen, I need to get your phone number, because if I'm not married in 6 months, I need to call you and you need to explain to me who lied. Was it you or was it God? Well, we know God.
So we know it was him, because God don't lie.
All right.
Right.
I called him back in 6 months, called him back in 9 months. Then I became on Facebook. And I was like, still waiting. And so his response was, well, I can only give you what God gave me. Now, baby, that was them pot of beans that you ate. That wasn't God at all.
It wasn't God. It wasn't God. It wasn't God.
We need to take away the stigma of being single. There's no, I literally love my own company. And one of the things, and this may sound away, but one of the things that keeps me from going and eating sorrow sandwiches about being single is because, number one, I have been in multiple abusive relationships.
Wow.
And number two, because I work so closely with domestic violence victims. So every time I feel like I want somebody to rub my ankle, I go and rescue somebody else who just settled for anybody that rubbed their ankle. And it's like, oh, yeah, now I remember I ain't missing nothing. Let me just go.
Wow. Yeah, I just can't. My thing was, when I meet you, and that was one of my first questions. I had 5 questions, but one of them was, do you beat your women? Because I'm not her. You hit me and hit you back. So let's get that clear. So, and then the other thing was, are you married? Do you have kids? I want to go down that road. So it's knowing exactly what you want, and you are not settling for anything less. That's the ball game. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it should be. So now you going on this road with me, or you gonna take 95 and go north? I don't know. So in the midst of me waiting, now there's somebody out there for the girl, and when he gets her, he's gonna be he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right. But for real, I just cannot see myself. I'm getting ready to date somebody, and I don't go to the village and say, do you know Tom Jones? And I mean, somebody got to know him. So what does he do? But now the first person that I want to go to, if the mother is still living, is his mom. Because if your mom tell you that Johnny is crazy, and you still want to be with him, believe it. She's the mother. She already knows. She's telling you that. But what they are already programmed to, no, he's cute and he's fine, and he do these things and do that. Okay, didn't his mama tell you he was crazy? That's somebody got to know him. The mama done told you
He,
this
he,
is
he
how it
didn't just
is.
drop out the sky. Somebody know him.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. My ex-husband told me that I was making him crazy. You know what my answer was? Don't put that on me. Your mama dropped you 4 or 5 times. I ain't had nothing to do with that. You came here crazy. All right. So I just don't want you to I don't want what I don't want. And I'm not gonna take what I don't want. So
Absolutely.
we got to I don't know. I know we can't do it in one segment, but we got to reach out to our young ladies and our young men, you know, about this, because we ain't gonna have nobody. We getting old. I need somebody to take care of me. You done killed the nurse.
Right. Yeah.
How am I gonna survive? Come on, we gotta figure out a way.
I tell young ladies all the time, teach a man how to treat you.
Right.
Show him how you want to be treated. If he flunk, he flunk. It's the most thing that belong.
That's right.
And you can't expect him to treat you well if you don't treat yourself well.
Right.
People pay attention to how you treat yourself.
Yes.
Right.
And if you spend any time in my presence, you know I treat myself well.
Very.
So most people know if they come in my presence, okay, I'm not gonna be able to treat her no type of way. You're right. Because I treat myself very well. I love on myself.
Right.
I don't beat up on myself, and I take care of myself. And so I think that's one of the messages that we have to get into women's heads too. Stop putting yourself last, because now you're teaching the man that you last. You teaching, you showing them, because you don't put yourself last always.
Right.
So when you stop putting yourself on a pedestal and you become a priority in your own eyes.
Yeah. Well, let us do this. Let us do a quick break, because we almost got to go. And we just got to do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to tally up and go somewhere. I don't know where we're going. Jesus help us. But go ahead.
Say something when we come back, if possible.
Okay. All right. We're going to break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you live in Houston and surrounding areas and are in need of quality childcare, contact Cuckoo's Treasures today. We provide professional childcare in a caring and nurturing environment. Do you work second or third shift or don't have a typical schedule? Cuckoo's Treasures can assist you. We're open 24 hours and some weekends. Give us a call today at 346-313-9064. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you. Introducing Stunner Magazine, a lifestyle publication and companion to Stunner Radio's weekly broadcasts. Stunner Magazine features positive images of the Black community and inspiring stories to uplift and entertain. With our Artist Spotlight and Stunner of the Month, we strive to introduce you to the most intriguing rising stars in music, fashion, and beauty. Check out our September edition, available now, exclusively on Issue.
Welcome back, and thank you for coming back. This has been a great show. Great show. I know, Doc, you had something that you wanted to state before we took a break.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm basking in all of this wisdom, but I wanted to say one thing. I became a mother when I was 16, just a little bit about myself, and a mother again when I was 18.
Me too.
And I was called to preach at the age of 7, started preaching when I was 9. And my mother was very abusive to me. I was light skinned. I looked just like my father, and her and my brother looked just alike. And so I was always ostracized, and, you know, you ugly, and you think that shit color gonna get you somewhere, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. So when my mother passed at the age, I had just turned 18. I was literally at her funeral, and I had two emotions. Half of me was like, she'll never hurt me again. The other half of me was like, but you only get one mother.
Right.
And I said that to say, because I had my children so early at 16 and 18, I had no idea who I was. I had no idea what I wanted. I didn't know what being a lady was like. I only knew that I had to do what I had to do to make sure that I could provide for my children. Now, to that tune, therefore, it caused me to go into several abusive relationships because abuse was what I knew. I didn't know anything else. And it wasn't until literally, I'm 47 now. It wasn't until literally 5 years ago that I learned what kind of cereal I like.
Wow.
What my favorite color was. And I remember it like it was yesterday. My children had got grown and they moved out. And I remember standing in the middle of the cereal aisle at the grocery store bawling because I was so used to buying. I get this cereal because my daughter likes it. I get this cereal because my son like it. I put the house in this color. You know, he like blue, so his room is blue. She like pink, her room is pink. And then I need to bring the house together and I need to make it work. So most of the time my furniture was black, so it would cover up the dirt and all of I knew nothing. I had never lived alone. And so I said all of that to say that when Lisa was saying how you learn to love yourself and things of that, now I am so happy being single. Why? Because I know who I am.
Yes.
You
I
are.
Yes.
know what I like. I know where I want to go, what I want to do, and all of these things. And so it's like this capsule inside of me that I want to go and plant into everybody somewhere. You know, be like, girl, no, don't get in no relationship. I need you to get to know yourself, get to love yourself.
Right.
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite restaurant? And so I have literally enjoyed, I got out of my last abusive relationship in 2015. And I'm gonna blow your wigs back because it was with a woman. And I had got with a woman because I got tired of being hurt by men. But I knew that was not God's will for my life. And so I was at a crossroad in my life of, do I want to live for God and live? Or do I want to avoid a man and die in sin?
Wow. Wow.
And
Hey,
so
let me
now,
take my ponytail off, girl. You did some damage there, honey. Wow.
tell people that because a lot of times, especially when you see Dr. Jennifer Gilbert, people just feel like, you know, I inherited the knowledge and all of this. No, I had to live this. I've only had my doctorate for about 10 years. And I feel like life gave me more degrees than any higher institution.
Yes,
That's so true.
And so now when I go and talk to women, I can go and talk to them from a place of experience, not what I read in a textbook and not what nobody told me. This is something that I experienced. And so it makes it all the more powerful. And me personally, I feel like women like us who are single and are okay with it. I feel like we are I want to say, you know, kind of the low men on the totem pole because there's so many women that's dying to be married. And the first question is why?
Girl, that's another story because I know a young lady that's been married 10 times. Girl, you still ain't happy. So I don't get it because you have not learned who you are.
Yeah.
That's the key.
You don't know who you are, and you haven't taught that man how to treat you.
That's right.
That's the key. And I know we running short on time, but I'm so grateful for you guys for having this topic. We could do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 20 on this and still have so much more to say. But what I want to say is to Dr. Gilbert, thank you for bringing that up because we as a people, and I know I keep going to Black people, but we have been perpetually in an identity crisis because people are always trying to tell you who you are. But that is the first step to overcoming abuse is like Dr. Gilbert said, learn who you are and stay there. Don't let nobody tell you. Star Jones says, I'm the author of the only dictionary that defines me. That means I don't need no help telling me who Lisa is. I know who I am. And once you get to that part in your life, like Dr. Gilbert said, you was good. It'd be nice to have a man, but you're not pressed. You're good because it's so beautiful because you know who you are and you're amazing. So it's just great to be, you know, just live and be alive. So if we can help anybody today, I feel like that would be the best theme. Get
Right.
a hold of your sense of
Yourself.
identity.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are
You
you?
know,
Yeah.
love on yourself.
Yes. That's a, let me write that down because that's
I think-
another show.
I think another part of our show is the part that our legal and judicial system plays in domestic violence. You beat up your wife and they let you out on $1,000 bond, or you get out and you get a short term and they go right back and abuse those women again.
Wow.
So we
You'll get a
really
longer sentence. You'll get a longer sentence for killing a dog than you will for killing a woman. You'll get a longer sentence
So
for
we
abusing
really talk about
animals.
our judicial system.
Yeah.
And the role they play.
There are so many, I'm like you, Lisa, there's so many topics out of this topic that we can go to. I don't like timing because there's so much that we want to say and it's time to go. We have to return. We have to do this again. We
have to address this subject again.
Yes.
I think we can complete, I think we could do another show of this.
Yeah.
Could, Doc, can you come back to us?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let the people know
where they can go for help.
Right, please. Where they can go for help, what you offering. These people that are watching tonight, because next week probably a new audience. So let's do that.
You can go to jgilbertministries.com. And there's a plethora. There's an organization that I founded. It's called DDV 365. That's Demolishing Domestic Violence 365 days a year. And under that umbrella, we have a plethora of resources, from getting your life started all over, identification cards, witness protection. We've also went into the legislation arena and had some laws approved that we're now revisiting to cover men as well. And so there's so much out there, but just go to jgilbertministries.com. On there is a contact me button. You can leave your information, contact me. We'll get back to you, especially if you put 911 next to your name. We'll get back to you within an hour.
Can you add that, Lisa, into the chat for us, please?
Yeah, so I'm adding it now.
Okay. God, part 2 is coming. We supposed to be in New Orleans next week. But in New Orleans, hey, it's that time. We're gonna be in New Orleans and we're gonna discuss the same thing because it has to. We got to do something. We got to do something. I'm just not. I'm not satisfied with where we are and where we're leaving off from. So if you all, like you said, you're coming, I really appreciate it, Doc. Lisa, girl, you blew my mind. I ain't gonna tell them. I tell them next week, but. This right here, like I stated earlier, I did not know some of the women that I talked to on an everyday base was going through this. So yes, on location New Orleans next week. But I did not know, and we kept it hid. That's what we do. We hide everything. And one of my friends said, "You didn't read my book?" I said, "Oh." No, I didn't. I'm sorry. But the information was there. So next week, ladies. Next week, ladies. So listen, everyone. Lisa, you want to give out your information so that they could reach out to you?
Absolutely. You can reach out to me on Instagram, on Facebook, on also at lisadenae.com. I am an advocate as well. But you definitely want to get in touch with Dr. Gilbert. Okay, she got all the resources. Yes. And before we go, let me just put her information up for her play because I want you guys to really, support what she's doing. Correct. This is one thing that I love about people who have gone through it. We never shut up about it. And that's important because we have to, like I said, people will get more time for killing a dog than they will for killing a woman. And if we don't stand up and talk about it, like she said, 365 days a year, it will never change.
And that was the purpose of us doing this show, because it did not happen just in the month of October or December. It happens right now. It's like
every day.
Over 10 million women. When I saw those numbers, I was like, who does that? Why are we not doing a little bit more about this situation? But
and contact No Sister Left Behind Inc. They have
Mhm.
resources to partner with each organization to reach the masses. Thank you, Lynette. And Lynette, thank you for tuning in.
Thank
She also says she's going to be sharing the play on her pages. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynette. Lynette is everybody on this page right now who's paying attention to us at all. And thank y'all for your time. It's Sharilyn Fisher.
Yes.
And Linda Scott. Y'all know what we say at the end. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. MIC. See you real soon. Okay?
Yeah.
KEY. Why? Because we love you. We ain't gonna do the mouths because it's just Linda Scott, Sharilyn, Louise, and Thelma Louise. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Everybody.